Alright, so this is your Unit 6 and 7 test review. So number 1 says the function below shows a relationship between x and y. If the value of x increases by 1, what happens to the value of y? You have y equals 5x minus 2. What we can do is do an xy table. We know x is increasing by 1, so we can just do 1, 2, and 3. We can plug this into y equals. So my y equals, we're going to type in 5x minus 2. Go to our table. And we can see for 1, we have 3, 8, and 13. So I'm going to copy those values over here. So we have 3, 8, and 13. Okay, it says what happens to y when x increases by 1. So if you notice, your x's are going up by 1. So over here on my y's, to go from 3 to 8, you add 5. And then 8 to 13, you add 5. So we are increasing by 5. So the answer for this one would be C. Number 2 says write an equation that best represents the graph below. Okay, so our equation is going to be in slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. So we need two things to write our equation. We need our slope and we need our y-intercept. Slope is rise over run. And to do this, the easiest way is to start with your y-intercept. So my y-intercept is where it crosses the y-axis at this point right here at 0, -1. And my slope is rise over run, so I just need to pick one more point. I can pick this point right here. Do my little lines to connect my dots. And then we can do our rise over run. So my rise, I'm going up 1, 2, 3. And my run would be 1, 2, 3, 4. And if you put your name on this line, you can see that when you write your name, okay, it's going down so that my slope is going to be negative. I have my slope, I have the y-intercept, so now I can plug this into my equation. So we have y equals, my slope is -3/4. Don't forget your x, your y-intercept is a -1. So y equals -3/4 x minus 1 is your final answer. Alright, number 3. It says the graph below shows two linear equations. What is the solution to the two equations? Well, here's equation 1, here's equation 2. They intersect here in a point, so your answer is whatever this point is. When you look at your x-axis, if you notice, okay, you're going up by 2, so in between, this is going to be a 1. Also, again, we're going up by 2, so in between 2 and 4, this is going to be a 3. So your point where these two lines intersect is going to be 1, 3. Alright, number 4. If the domain of the function f of x equals 5x minus 3 is restricted to -2 is less than or equal to x less than or equal to 2, what is the range of the function? Okay, so all we're going to do is plug in these x values into the equation and get our answer. So the first one we're plugging in a -2 for x. So all that is 5 times -2 minus 3. You can plug that in the calculator or do it by hand, and when you do that, 5 times -2 is -10, minus 3 is a -13. And then we have to plug in the +2 for x. So we have 5 times the +2 minus 3. 5 times 2 is 10, 10 minus 3 is 7. So we're going to plug in our answers for what we plugged in here and here. So when we plugged in -2, we got -13. We have less than or equal to. Okay, that was our domain. Well, we just found range, so instead of x, we're going to use y. And then we have a less than or equal to sign, and when we plugged in 2, we got a +7. So that will be your answer. Alright, number 5 says write the equation 5x minus 2y is equal to 10 in slope-intercept form. So we have x and y on the same side. All you have to do is your exciting move. If that's a +5x, it's going to become negative. I have a -2y left over. So +5x becomes negative plus 10, and then we have to do the great divide. So we're going to divide everything in here by -2. Those cross out, we end up getting y equals. You can type in your calculator -5 divided by -2 and hit math enter enter. And that would just come out to be a +5/2. Don't forget your x. And then 10 divided by -2 is a -5. And again, if you need to, you can type that into your calculator and hit math and enter, and it will give you -5. All right, number 6, the table below represents a set of values of a function for x and y. What is the y-intercept of the function represented by the table? Write your answer as an order pair. Easiest way to do this is just to put this into set edit. So if we go to our calculator, and I pray that this works and doesn't freeze. Okay, so set edit in L1, we have -5, -3, 1, 3, and 6. So, whoops, there we go, -5, -3, 1, 3, and 6. And L2 are those y values, which is 13, 5, -11, -19, and a -31. Okay, so after you get those in L1 and L2, you just hit stat, go over to calc, we want number 4, and then you hit enter, 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 enter to calculate, and then it gives us our equation. So y equals -4x minus 7. Now this one, I'm going to go ahead and write out my equation over here to the side. Y equals -4x minus 7. The question didn't want the entire equation. All it wanted was my y-intercept. Remember, your y-intercept is your constant that you have in the back, which is a -7. As an order pair, we're going to put 0, -7. Number 7, Tim's Home and Car Sounds charges a flat fee of $100 plus $30 per hour for labor to install custom home sound systems. Home Tunes charges a flat fee of $200 plus $25 per hour for labor. After how many hours will the charges by both companies be the same? Write two equations and solve to find both the number of hours and the charge. Okay, so we're going to start with Tim's Home and Car Sounds. We have y equals. We have $100 for a flat fee, so you only need to write that one time. Plus, we have $30 per hour. We don't know how many hours, so we can call that X. For Home Tunes, that's your second company. They have a flat fee of $200, so we are going to write that down one time. Plus, they have a $25 per hour. We don't know how many hours are going to be out there, so we're going to put X. What we need to find to see when they're going to be the same is the intersection where these two lines meet. So to do that, we're going to go into our calculator, into y equals. And we're going to type in, our first one was 100 plus 30x. And our second one was 200 plus 25x. Now, if you hit your graph, you'll notice that you cannot see where the two lines intersect. So there's my first one. And I don't know if, there we go, there's my second one. You can't see the intersection because we have big numbers, and this only goes from -10 to 10. So what you can do is if you go to zoom, and if you hit 0, there's my 0, up here where it says zoom fit. So if you hit zoom 0, oh, it's going to freeze. No, it's not. There we go. There's my first line, and there's my second line. What it does is it's going to zoom out so that you can see, and we still can't see the intersection. So we're going to hit zoom. We want to zoom out a little bit more, so hit 3 and hit enter. So there's my first line. There's my second line, and so now I can see that they intersect somewhere over here. So to find that intersection, we're going to hit second trace. We want the intersection, so we're going to hit 5, and we hit enter 3 times. So 1, 2, 3, and so here's my intersection at 20, 700. So I'm going to write down my order pair, 20, 700. And now we have to decide which one is going to be the hours and what is the amount that they charge. Well, if you remember, we're going to label this as my order pair X and Y. In our equations, X represents how many hours that they're working. So the number of hours would be 20. And then the amount charged is what that is equal to. That's my Y. So for 20 hours, both of these companies would charge $700. Alright, number 8. Jacqueline needs to solve the system of linear equations below for a homework assignment. We have y equals 8x minus 40 and y equals 2x plus 12. What is a reasonable solution to the system of linear equations round to the nearest integer? So I'm going to plug those into my y equals. This one's nice because it's already in slope-intercept form. So I'm going to plug in my y equals. The first one was 8x minus 40. And the second one was 2x plus 12. Okay, my calculator is already zoomed out, so I'm just going to hit zoom 6. That just brings it back to your normal standard window that you always see. And so if you look, I can't see if they intersect or not, so I'm going to hit zoom 3 and hit enter. I'm going to zoom out. And it looks like my calculator froze. Okay, when you do this, you'll just hit second trace, 5, enter, enter, enter. And when you do that, you'll see at the bottom of your calculator, you're going to get crazy decimals. For X, it says like 8.666667. And on your Y, it says 9.33333, or 29.333. Okay, so what we're going to do, it says here that we're going to round to the nearest whole number. So to do that, when you round 8.6667 to the nearest whole number, that's going to be 9. And when you round 29.333, that should just give you 29. So that would be your answer. Alright, number 9. Jesse works at an electronics store. He is paid a base salary of $100 plus a 25% commission on all sales. Write an equation to represent Jesse's weekly pay as a function of amount of sales. So for this one, we can just use y and x. We have y equals, we have $100 plus, now this percent has to change into a decimal. So if you remember the rule, you just move the decimal place over 2 spots. So that'd be 0.25x. And so that's it. All right, number 10. Okay, it says write an equation below in standard form. So first we have to get it into slope-intercept form. That's your y equals mx plus b. To do that, you need two things. We need our slope and we need our y-intercept. So the easiest one to find is my y-intercept. That's where it crosses the y-axis. It's right here at -4. Your slope is your rise over run. Okay, so I need one more point. I can pick 1, -2. Draw my lines to connect them. I'm just going to do rise over run. So my rise is 1, 2. My run is just 1. 2 divided by 1 is going to give you 2. And if you put your name on the line, okay, you'll notice that this is going up, so it's positive. So your equation for slope-intercept form would be y equals, my slope was 2. Don't forget the x, my y-intercept's a -4, so we're going to put -4. So y equals 2x minus 4, slope-intercept form. But the question asks for standard form, so to do this, we have y equals 2x minus 4. We're going to do our exciting move again, so I'm going to move my 2x over. If it's positive, it's going to become negative. And then you need to check for your no-nos. So you have one no-no, it's a negative. So to fix that, we multiply everything by a -1. So all it does is change the sign. So it's going to become 2x minus y is equal to a +4. So your standard form, 2x minus y is equal to 4. Alright, number 11, it says the table below lists corresponding x and y values of a linear function. Write the equation that best represents this function. So this is L1, this is L2. I'm going to see if I can restart my calculator while you all type that into your set edit. Okay. Alright, so let's see if I can do this. So set edit. In L1 are going to be my x values. So we have -4, 2, 2, 2, 2. 2 divided by 1 is going to give you 2. And if you put your name on the line, okay, you'll notice that this is going up, so it's positive. So to fix that, we multiply everything by a -1. And then -2, 4, and 9. In L2, we have negative 6, -5, and then -2 and 0.5. So just 0.5. Okay, so we're going to hit Stat, go over to Calc. We need number 4. Go all the way down to Calculate, just hit Enter. So we have y equals 0.5 x minus 4. We don't want decimals, so you can type that in, 0.5, and hit Math and Enter. If you need to, if you're not sure, if you can't remember what fraction that is, and it'll give it to you over here that is 1/2. So my equation then, y equals, it's a positive 1/2 x, and that y-intercept was a -4. Okay, so again, this was just doing it by using stat edit. All right, number 12. Some values for two linear equations are shown in the tables below. What is the solution to the system of equations represented by these tables? All you're trying to do is find your matching order pairs. So this one says -3, -10. This one does not, so that cannot be the answer. This says 1/6. There's not a 1/6 over here. Then we have 2/10. That says 2/8, so that cannot be it. It's just pretty much matching. Here you have 3/14. Here you have 3/14. So your answer here would be 3, 14. And yes, it is that easy. All right. Number 13. The sum of three consecutive odd numbers is 111. What are the three numbers? This is where you're going to do x's and numbers and your total sum. Remember the pattern goes x, x plus 2, and x plus 4. So whenever we add all this stuff up, you have 3x, and 2 plus 4 is 6. Put your equal sign. Here's your numbers. It tells you the sum of all these numbers is 111. So we have 3x plus 6 is equal to 111. Simple two-step equation. Subtract 6 from both sides. We get 3x is equal to 111 minus 6. Okay, and so again, if you need to, you're more than welcome. You can use your calculator. Just do 111 minus 6, and we're going to divide that. We get 105. We're dividing both of that by 3, so x is going to be 35. So we have 105, divide both sides by 3 to get x to be 35. Now that's not your answer. You have to go ahead and use that, plug it back in over here. So x is 35. Then we're going to add 2 to get 37. And then it says x plus 4, so 35 plus 4 to get you 39. So my three numbers are 35, 37, and 39. Alright, 14, what is the effect on the graph of changing the equation y equals 3x plus 2 to y equals 7x plus 2? You notice both these are in slope-intercept form, which is your y equals mx plus b. Okay, if you look at your answer choices, you're between two things, either the slope or when it's talking about your line shifting up and down, that has to do with your y-intercept. Well, if you notice, your y-intercept stayed the same. It's 2 for both of these, so you can cross out 2 of them. And now you're just looking at your slope. You start off with 3, you went up to 4. So it either increased by 2, which 3 plus 2 is 5, not 7, or it increases by 4. 3 plus 4 is 7. So your answer here is H. Number 15, what is the slope of the linear equation x equals 0? Okay, you can't put that into the calculator because your calculator only says y. So if you wanted to plot this, x equals 0 would be a line that goes straight up and down right here, which is the same thing as your y-axis. Okay, so it's just going straight up and down. And the line that goes straight up and down, the slope of that line is just undefined. It's not positive because remember positive goes up like this. It's not negative because negative goes down. And it's not 0 because 0 just goes straight across. Okay, so undefined is your answer because it goes straight up and down. Alright, last page, number 16. Says the band at Crosby High School sold a total of 450 large and extra large t-shirts during its annual fundraising sale. Each large t-shirt sold for $12.50 and each extra large t-shirt sold for $15. The band made $6,250 from the sales of the two sizes of t-shirts. Which of the following systems of equations can be used to find x, the number of large t-shirts sold, and y, the number of extra large t-shirts sold? So what I'm going to do, because they just gave me a very important piece of information, is put an X above large and a Y above extra large. Okay, so we have so many large t-shirts and we have so many extra large t-shirts and we sold 450 total. So my first equation is going to be X plus Y is equal to 450. If you look at your answer choices, you can automatically eliminate H and J because they're saying that you sold 6,250 shirts, which is not true. We only sold 450. Now, if you look over here, your next two equations that you need to see which one is correct has to do with the second line. Now, they both equal to the money, so we're going to look at money. For a large t-shirt, so that's my X, it's going to be $12.50. So you can quickly look and see that your $12.50 that goes with your large t-shirt, which is X, is going to be G. They flip-flopped the two. They said it's going to be $15 for a large when it's $15 for an extra large. So F is wrong. Number 17, write the equation 4x minus 2y is equal to negative 8 in slope-intercept form. So this is just your two steps you have to do, your exciting move. I have a negative 2y that I did not circle, so I'm going to write negative 2y equals. That 4x is positive. When I move him over, he's negative. I have a minus 8 at the very end. And then I do my great divide because I need this to say y equals. So the number in front is a negative 2, so my great divide is going to be by a negative 2. Be very, very, very careful in this problem. The biggest mistakes my kids make is that they forget that negative. So make sure you circle what you're moving and look at what you didn't circle. Make sure it's, a negative or a positive so you don't get the answer wrong. So y equals, you can type this in the calculator, hit math and enter. You can do it in your head, whichever works best for you. Negative 4 divided by negative 2 is a positive 2. You have an x. And negative 8 divided by negative 2 is a positive 4. So there's my equation in slope-intercept form. Okay, number 18. Given the function f of x equals 8x plus 3, what is the value of f of negative 2? Now, if you look, f of x is inside the parentheses, negative 2 is inside the parentheses. So what this means is that x is equal to negative 2. So we're going to plug that in. F of negative 2 is equal to, everywhere we see an x, we're going to plug in negative 2. 8 times negative 2 plus 3. So you can type that in the calculator if you want to. You can do it in your head if you want to. So we have 8 times negative 2 is negative 16. Negative 16 plus 3 gives you negative 13. Number 19, solve the equation. We have 4 times x plus 2 is equal to 2 times 6 plus x. We have two sets of parentheses, so we're going to distribute 2 times. We're going to distribute the 4, and we're going to distribute the 2. 4 times x is 4x. 4 times 2 is 8. 2 times 6 is 12. 2 times x is 2x. Get your x's on the same side. I'm going to move the positive 2x over here. Since it's positive, I'm going to make it negative. So that becomes a 0 pair. 4x minus 2x is just 2x. Bring down the 8 and bring down the 12, and then you have a simple two-step equation. So you can subtract 8 from both sides. So you have 2x is equal to 12 minus 8 is just 4. Get x by itself, divide both sides by 2. So we end up getting x is equal to 2. Now once you have that answer, it's really good to check your work. So we can plug that in. 4 parentheses, my x is 2. 2 plus 2 is equal to 2 times 6 plus my x is 2. So 2 plus 2 is 4. 4 times 4 is 16. 6 plus 2 is 8. 2 times 8 is 16. And again, you can type it in the calculator just like this. Since 16 equals 16 is true, then I know my answer here is correct. Alright, last one. It says if x comma 3.6 is a solution to the equation 5x minus 2y equals 28, what is the value of x? Make sure you label x and y. Biggest mistakes my kids made on the last quiz was they didn't label and they plugged it into the wrong thing. So we know y is 3.6, so we know y is 3.6. We have 5 times x minus 2 times my y is 3.6 is equal to 28. Okay, so we have 5x. Negative 2 times 3.6, you can type that into the calculator. You'll get negative 7.2 is equal to 28. And then you have a simple two-step equation. So we're going to add 7.2 to both sides. So we have 5x is equal to, I'm going to go ahead and get this in my calculator. So 28 plus 7.2. 28 plus 7.2. That'll get you your 35.2. Okay, and then what we have to do is divide both sides by 5. So these cross out, that gives you 1x is equal to, and all you have to do is hit divide by 5. And you get 7.04. Now, just because you have a decimal does not mean your answer is wrong. And what you can do, since these are going to be gradables on your test, is you can check them. Plug it back in. So we have 5 times x. Well, we just figured out x is 7.04. Minus 2 times y. My y is 3.6. And that should come out to 28. So I'm going to type this into my calculator. So we have 5 parentheses 7.04 minus 2 parentheses 3.6. And if it comes out to 28, I'm correct. If not, I did something wrong. So when I hit enter, it does come out to 28. So since 28 is equal to 28 is true, then we know that our answer here is correct. Okay, so that is your review. If you have any questions, come see us before your test on Friday.